Hi there, welcome to our weekly podcast. Today we are going to discuss about the Family Federation for World Peace. Its father established in the 1990s. So we want to discuss about where the Family Federation is really going, and also anything that we mention in this podcast, any quotes or things that we'll put in the descriptions so that you could review about it. Is it? So Peter, when you think of the Family Federation, you know what was its original goal the father desired to have?
The original goal?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Well, far as the original goal obviously was to rule as a king of heaven on the earth, have an ideal family, an ideal nation and so on.
Yeah, because as you remember when I think when we joined the church, I think in the 1980s or so, we were always to recite the Nai Mengsei, which is the My Pledge, and but later on in the 1992s it was switched to the Family Federation. Do you know why suddenly it changed? Uh, because it was like in the individual level, and then we had the family level. So I wonder we'll have it in the future and a national pledge. So
Well, I think we'll be in a family level for some time.
yeah,
It'll be a long time until we have a national pledge because we haven't found a nation yet.
yeah, Chongyuk Nation.
Right.
So if we have a Chongyuk Nation, then we probably have a national pledge, like a pledge of allegiance.
Yeah, I think it's more important to discuss how family federation developed after True Father's ascension.
Yeah, I think because true. I think when the individual pledge ended, because I think Father achieved individual perfection. That is why I think he ended the Nai Mingse that we used to always recite.
Yeah, we're all working on a family level
Now
now.
we're familiar now, yes.
The question is, what happened with the family federation after True Father ascended?
Yeah. Well, it's very hard to say, what happened because I mean, it's totally now has gone haywire. There's no, there's no proper direction in the family federation now because they're already focusing only on one person. It's not on the family.
Yeah, well, it's no longer, sadly to say, it's no longer centered on True Father.
Yeah.
It's centered on Hakjahan, who claims to be the only begotten daughter, and Father's a fallen man, or born with original sin.
That's a big problem. When you say born with original sin, that means that Satan has a claim over Father, and that Satan did not have a claim over her from the beginning. And it's very strange when you think of it, because Father educated her, Father raised her up. If you study Father's course, we understand that we always said that Father, that she was not allowed to come to the front door when Father was speaking to the members. She always had to go to the back door.
Well, yeah, but members have to realise, those who joined way back in the 70s or earlier or slightly later, ask themselves, why did you join? I think the answer would be that they believe that True Father is the second coming of Christ and is born without original sin, and he came to remove original sin from all members, to remove Satan's claim on us. Now, look at the basic teaching of divine principle. There's always been.
Yeah.
Now look at it briefly now. Adam and Eve fell, and they fell under Satan's dominion with original sin. We see this, for example, Jesus said in John 8:44, "You are of your father the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires." So all humanity, since the fall of Adam and Eve, have original sin. They're in Satan's lineage. Now when the Messiah comes, a person born without original sin, that was Jesus first of all, but the idea was to remove the original sin in others and build the kingdom of heaven on the earth. Now Jesus' case, he died as an individual, so he could not complete salvation. But the idea is that Messiah comes, second coming of Christ comes, born without original sin, to remove the original sin in others. And of course, you know that was the blessing. And that's stated very clearly in the exposition of the divine principle. You can find it in page 390. Said the Saviour of humankind will be born as a sinless man. A sinless man means born without original sin or any other sin, to save all humanity. Now, this has been lost in recent times. We know we always believed that to be Father. And Father said it on many occasions. He's born without original sin. Recently, when a video has been circulated, he said, if I had the original sin, I could not be the Saviour. And we'll post that on the description later. Now, more recent time, Hakchian, after True Father passed, she said that he's born with original sin. And that totally contradicts the divine principle and True Father. And then she claims that she herself was born without original sin. So she's replaced True Father with herself. She's replaced the divine principle with her teaching, the only begotten daughter theology, which is frankly false. There's nothing to do with the divine principles. Total contradiction of it. And that's what we have today. Now, Family Federation members, they seem to be struggling with this. And they say, well, some people say, well, it's not that important. It is important. That's the reason why we joined the church. That's why we're following Father. If Father was born with original sin, he's not the Messiah. He's not the second coming of Christ that was claimed in the divine principle. And the divine principle will be forced. So you have to either believe Father and divine principle, or you believe Hakchian. One is lying. Either Father is lying or Hakchian is lying. Now I believe True Father, actually, and I always will. Hakchian is lying. More recently, in a speech in April 12th, 1977, she speaks about the marriage of the marriage of the Lamb. But if you read that speech, she claims that the only begotten daughter born without original sin has been married to the only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, who was born without original sin. Many members have heard that speech, but they don't realize what she said. She's not talking about True Father. She's talking about Jesus. And then another video just last year in Germany, she said, guess who's with us? Many members probably expect her to say, well, True Father's with her. No, not True Father, Jesus. Only Jesus was there, and with guess who? Herself. The only begotten daughter, or the substantial Holy Spirit. So the movement's changed. It's become a radical movement. It's no longer following a True Father. And this is a very serious issue. Members have been misled. They're following a deception. The truth doesn't change. If True Father said the truth before, what he said before is true, it's true today. And it'll always be true. Father left us the 8 great textbooks, including Divine Principle. He said we should study those for thousands of years.
I can't understand why the members of Family Federation are following this woman, because it's totally heresy. I mean, she has no goal in mind. All about the only begotten daughter. How it was good that you met me. I mean, what does it mean? What is the direction? Is she leading the Family Federation, the original goal that Father desired to have? The Changguk nation and the building of a Chongwangguang sanctum. Just it's really clueless. I can't understand. I mean, are they totally controlled by Satan? Is Satan really working to bring about God's destruction? And this is real. This is a reality. I mean, like, I think in Ephesians it says that we are not fighting against flesh and blood. We are fighting against the principalities of darkness. And this is the reality that we really face today. I mean, it's a destroyer. You think of it. What has been done? What has she accomplished from the time that she took over the reins of the Family Federation? Do you know what she has done in this?
Well, it's become an idolatrous movement, to be honest, because first of all, she made statues of herself being worshipped, and if you see the statues she made, it's just not just statue of herself, but in the statues there's other figures in there bowing down to her, worshipping her. Now, I don't know anyone in history has done that. I mean, there's been narcissistic people who made statues of themselves, or some statues have been made of honourable people. That's okay. But I've never seen a statue, someone made a statue of themselves being worshipped. Now that's the extreme of narcissistic self-worship. That's totally idolatry. True Father would never do anything like that. And now this sanctum, the whole focus in this sanctum, this would be in April or something, but all the money she demands from people is going toward that. And I feel it's very sad that the movement is crumbling. Many places are closing down. Organizations that True Father set up have been closing down, been sold off. This is tragic. Yeah, Father left one person in charge, and that was Yunjanin, his heir and successor. And he was declared that with Hakchan by his side when she was true mother.
Yeah, the declaration clearly states, no, anybody else is a heretic and a destroyer. That's clearly it's kind of vision for what will happen, and she's become a heretic in this modern age and a destroyer. She destroyed the movement.
And she's done everything to destroy him, even using a lawsuit, a court case against him, misusing millions of dollars of hard-earned money from members who donated or fundraised for it. The court case is really nonsensical. Even the judge realized it was just a ridiculous vendetta her mother had against her son. It was all against trying to stop him using the 12-gate sign. But Yunjin was the legitimate heir. He had a right to use the 12-gate sign. He's the one who should be leading the movement, not her.
Yeah, if he led the movement, I think we would had some progress, and I think we would be been able to achieve our Changi Book Nation. But what is happening now is terrible, no? I mean, it's totally. I mean, when the name of God has been changed, like.
And she created a false theory, the only begotten daughter. Well, you can read it in the deposition. Deposition was in was it 2019, March the 25th. Her explanation is this: that when Father was 16 years old, he met Jesus. Now, according to her, Father only became the only begotten Son when he met Jesus. Okay, and then Father goes through indemnity course. But then only after that, when he met the only begotten daughter born without original sin, which is her, was his position as the only begotten Son confirmed. You see, so Father was never the only begotten Son. Only Jesus was. In that speech, that quote I gave already, is that. So in her mind, she's the only begotten daughter, and Father was not born the only begotten Son. He was not born without original sin. He was born with original sin, according to her.
I think the whole concept of the only begotten daughter is an evil concept. I mean, nowhere in the Bible it ever mentions the only begotten daughter. and and also on the marriage of the lamb. I mean, this is a crazy idea to come about the only begotten daughter. It's a kind of a feminist idea. Do you think so? I mean, this is what I understand. It's not a biblical view.
Well, that's right, David, because Father, the truth is that the Father came,
Yeah.
he's the Messiah, the only person born without original sin. He has to find his wife from the fallen world. Now, Father explained that in a speech, where is the only begotten daughter? Is there an only begotten daughter, like the only begotten son? He said, no, there isn't. The only begotten daughter is a fallen woman. It's a fallen woman. It means that there's only an only begotten son, because it's only a Messiah born without original sin. So there's only an only begotten son. Now, the only begotten son, or Messiah, he has to find his wife, bless her with himself, so original sin is removed,
Yeah.
and then she becomes the true mother. But even in that position, she has to grow to reach perfection. So it's very different from Hachan's view. You see? Now, Hachan had to reach perfection. I mean, Hachan is not Father's first wife. Sunkyo Choi was the first wife, but she lost faith. He couldn't keep that faith. And Hachan has reversed that. She sent the only begotten daughter here, and she accepted Jesus' nomination for father. Only in that reason the father could be blessed with her. It's a total opposite. It's a total lie, actually. True father is the one who discovered divine principle. True father is the one who discovered the fall, Satan's secret crime. So true father is the one who could make the blessing available, so we can have original sin removed. Hachan didn't do that any of that.
Yeah, the funny thing is that she says that she knew the principle. By birth, she knew the principle. It's funny. It reminds me of the famous Asterix and Obelix, where Obelix is born with the magic potion in a cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Hak Jahan being born with the divine principle at birth, or at the mother's womb, that she knew it. She did not have to learn, and she did not have to study. She did not have to go through trials and temptations. But it was like she just acquired it. It's a crazy theology when you think of it.
Well, it shows that she doesn't even understand the divine principle, because she said in a speech, I think it's the deposition, that when she's talking about Father being born without original sin, whereas his brothers, they have original sin. So I leave it for you to answer. So in her thinking that because Father's siblings have original sin, then how can Father be born without original sin? That's her thinking. So he must be born with original sin. But she doesn't realize is that, first of all, Jesus, he had siblings.
Yeah.
And his siblings had original sin. But Jesus did not have original sin because he's the Messiah. He was born for that
purpose. Yeah,
he's the beginning of the lineage. As a true father, likewise, he's born without original sin from the fallen lineage. Of course, his lineage is fallen, like every lineage since the fall. But he's the beginning of the new lineage, of God's lineage on earth. So, of course, Father's siblings have original sin, but Father does not. He came to remove the original sin in others, including his family, including his siblings, and all mankind. So she didn't understand that part. And so, I mean, it took Father 9 years of intense spiritual research and struggle to discover divine principle. But she saying she's already knew it, it shows how naive and ridiculous.
It is a crime when you think of, because I can't understand why the Family Federation follows it, because they don't clearly understand. I mean, do they have a conscience to understand that that what she's teaching is false, or are they emotionally driven? not conscientious of what's his teaching. It's a total heresy. It's not what the founder wanted to establish. The father wanted to teach the members. He's totally teaching a kind of a separate principle, totally a different principle.
Yeah, it's the only begotten daughter theology. That's the way you can only think we can call it. But it's an anti-divine principle.
So it's a different religion altogether. No? I mean, she's created a different a schism, a different movement. So I mean, she's become a hindrance to the providence of God, because the whole testament of God. If you look at the Old Testament, the New Testament, now the completed Testament, you know, the Old Testament was also the preparation for the Messiah to come. The Messiah was to establish the kingdom of heaven on the earth at that time. But unfortunately, the people of Israel lost faith in Jesus, and Jesus had to go to the cross, and then he had to have a spiritual salvation that the Christians were born. Christians were born as the second Israel, and then we had the third Israel, like the Unification Church members, right? Their Messiah, Father, was to establish that Chongu nation, the kingdom of heaven. But then we can see now a hindrance scale that Satan has even been able to attack his own attack his own wife and possess his wife, right? Because I think it's a demonic position.
Yeah.
For her to go against Father's original will to establish that kingdom of heaven, the Chongu nation in heaven. But thank God for Hunjanim. Hunjanim has, or Sean. Sorry if I do not pronounce the name correctly, but Sean, at least he is establishing Father's original desire to bring the kingdom of heaven on earth, or the Chongu nation on earth. I mean, it's been a struggle between good and evil that we see. That is how occurring. I mean, it's a travesty, and I don't know. I don't what is I can't understand. Are we wrong, or are the family federation right? I mean,
well, Father said there'll always be a physical. Father said he'll always have a physical representative on the earth. He said that many speeches, and he didn't always say who it was, but eventually he did say, beginning from 2009, and he said it was Yunjanin. And ever since 2009, he was related to Yunjam as his heir and successor. The 8 great textbooks he present to Yunjanin, his heir and successor.
He was the custodian of it.
Custodian. And every other place, his prayers were always to the heirs and successors of true parents, Yunjanim and Yahanim. You can see this. Now he declared it on the 10th, June the 10th. I forget the date. Anyway, he declared it in the declaration that Yunjam is his heir and successor, that any other person would be a heretic destroyer. And he had at least 3 different ceremonies where Yunjam and Yahanim were presented the crowns and the true parents, successors of true parents. So that's the way, that was God, Father's plan, idea. Because the mission, true Father's mission, continues through his lineage. That's why Father said the most important is lineage. More important than love or life is lineage. Because through the lineage, Father could continue his mission on earth. So Yunjin is representing true Father on earth.
And Father is working with Yunjin on the spiritual level.
Yeah, and then his son after that, and his son after that, and forevermore. Because God's plan from the very beginning was to establish his lineage on the earth. Adam and Eve failed, but it's finally realized through a true Father.
And Hak Jahan doesn't have a concept of lineage. He doesn't have a concept. I don't think he ever talks about lineage. I mean, the lineage comes from the male, not from the female.
The seed, yeah.
Yeah, seed. So she has no concept of this lineage. I never heard her talking of. I don't know who is going to succeed her once she passes to the spiritual world. So it's, I mean, I hope that the Family Federation will wake up and understand that the true unification church, that the true unification church, or the true ideal that God is going to establish, is through Father's anointed heir and successor, Hinjiri. So, thank you for listening, and we hope that we could bring you better podcast, and also much more revitalizing uh, podcast in the future, especially on this subject, because we know that God has a desire, as he said in Isaiah 46:11. He said, "I have a will, and I will bring it to pass," and that pass is coming now, and this is the age that we live in. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you.